No, I don't think it's by blind faith. But again,
Good.
I'm not. Your answer, your question might be slightly different than before. I'm really just confused about what you're even asking.
Yeah, you affirmed that something is the case in reality. How do you account for that? Is it by blind faith?
Is the case in reality?
Yeah, if you're going to say that there's a universal, which is an abstraction that you have about.
You mean like universe? You mean abstracting out from particular instances to a more general principle?
Yeah, when you say there's a universal, such as when we say the laws of logic, the word law refers to that it's universal. It's absolute. It's true at all times in all places. That's a universal. How do you account that is the case? Is it by your sense perception?
Well, I think that maybe the sense perception doesn't account, but I think that if there was an instance where one of those laws suddenly didn't hold, that would go against the idea that these laws are universals.
Okay,
if I'm understanding what you mean by universals.
You're not answering my question.
Yeah, so since that hasn't happened yet, it's safe.
Helena,
let me finish.
You're evading my question.
No. I'm trying to answer. You just need to let me finish. Since that hasn't happened, it's safe to hold that. Now I've forgotten what I was going to say.
Yeah, the question is.
But where do you think the laws of nature, the logical laws, come from? Do you think that God created them?
The laws of logic reflect how God created this world, that reflect His nature.
So,
you don't accept that. Now, how do you account?
But I'm interested in that.
Okay, well, I answered it. Okay, now I'm still waiting for an answer to my question. As a non-believer, okay, in order for you to reason, there must be universal laws of logic. How do you account that they are the case? Is it through blind faith? Is it through sense perception?
I think it's something like a brute fact. It's something. I think it's something like a brute fact. I guess.
A brute. Well, and how do you know it's a brute fact?
Or like a self-evident kind of thing.
How is a universal self-evident?
Well, let's look at each particular law.
No. Where you're reifying now the laws of logic when you say we look at it. Okay.
No. I said
the laws of logic because they're universal. You can look at particulars.
I mean, consider. Yeah. So
okay.
Each
so
particular instance, in each particular instance, you see an instantiation of the general principle, and so that's how universals are.
So because you see consistencies, therefore the whole conforms to the part?
The whole? And I don't know what you mean now by whole.
Are you using inductive reasoning? Are you using inductive reasoning to give an account for a universal such as the laws of logic?
I don't think so. You're asking me.
Okay,
you're asking me.
How do you account?
Why do I think we have these? Why do I think we've had these laws? And let's assume that they're
how do you account for them? What is your reason to believe that this universal exists?
Right. Why do I think that the laws are true? Hold true? It's because it makes logical sense, it makes mathematical sense, and it isn't. We never see an instance in real life of the not holding
abstractions. Okay, that's begging the question. The fact that you see the chicken who gets fed by the farmer for 15 years, every morning the farmer comes out and he feeds the chicken. And on the first day of the 16th year, the farmer comes out and the chicken's expecting, due to past consistencies, that the farmer will feed him. And the farmer puts it up on the wood block and he cuts its head off.
Right.
The chicken just used your same kind of reasoning.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, what you're saying is we could all be chickens.
Okay, so
that's okay.
No, what I'm saying is you're using faulty logic. Now, You are
Well,
stipulating and
faulty.
affirming.
I don't know about faulty.
You are affirming that there is a universal out there. I want to know if it's by blind faith or not blind faith.
Well,
Which
I've
is it?
given you a couple of things that I think might qualify as accounting for.
I asked
One
you a
is
question.
living
Is it
like
by
the
blind
chicken.
faith?
Living like the
Is
chicken.
it by
I don't.
blind faith, Helena?
Well, it sounds like you just want me to say yes, but I really don't think it's by blind faith.
Okay, good. Thank you for the answer to that question. Good. What's your rational justification that these universals exist if it's not by blind faith?
I've already told you that.
Yeah, no, you gave me, in all due respect to you, you gave me circuitous gobbledygook answers.
Well, listen.
Seriously.
The questions are.
I'm not saying.
Go ahead. What?
I'm not saying that to insult you, but I will be transparent with you.
Well, you can be transparent. And it's okay if you think that, right? I mean, what is your answer going to be but gobbledygook too? I mean, you think it's the nature of God?
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. When you reject the revelation of the Christian God, that he is the creator and sustainer of all things, and then you seek to make sense of your existence apart from him, your answers literally turn into gobbledygook. You have no foundation for them. I asked you, what's the ultimacy of reality from which all possibility or impossibility stem or derivative from? You said, I don't know.
Right, and so you think that you have an
Therefore,
answer.
you don't know that there's. Therefore, you don't know that there are universals. Do you?
But you think that you have an answer. But from where I sit,
the Christian worldview can account for these universals. But when you reject that revelation, you have no basis to make any knowledge statements or put forth reason. Because the moment you do, I'm going to ask you, what are the preconditions for that? And when I have been asking you that, your answer is, I don't know what is ultimate.
Well, I don't really even know what you mean, but I can tell you that when I think about what the options could be, and one of them is that there's a supernatural creature, and somehow these laws flow out of something called his nature, that seems like gobbledygook to me. So we just both sound like gobbledygook to each other. So we should just sort of maybe part ways.
The problem, Helena, you don't have any foundation in your rejection of the Christian worldview to make any demarcations up, down, left, or right. You don't have an accounting for universals, okay? And you make knowledge statements. Now, when you make knowledge statements, would you agree that knowledge statements require a viable theory of knowledge?
No.
Oh, you can make a knowledge statement with no theory of knowledge?
Not with no theory of knowledge, but we don't even have a decent theory of knowledge yet. We've got problems with Gettier cases. We don't know what we're talking about with justification.
So you don't have a basis to make knowledge statements. Is that correct?
I didn't say we don't have a basis. I said
what is
you don't. I said, hold on, let me finish. I said we can talk about things we know, even with a cloudy understanding of what knowledge is, and that's what we do.
Okay. In order to make a knowledge statement, you're going to have some semblance of how you know what you know, correct?
No, not necessarily.
Oh, okay. So you're going to give me a knowledge statement, and I say, "How do you know that?" And you say, "I don't know."
Well, there's a theory that
if you tell me X, Y, Z, and I say okay, and I say, and why should I accept that as a knowledge statement? What's that based upon? And you say, I don't know.
So I think I would probably, if I did something like that, I would probably have some kind of idea about why I think that. But I don't think that necessarily means that that is part and parcel of what we mean when we say knowledge. Right? Like our understanding of what justification